Under
Oh, I don't know who Randy got it from.
Randy, are they here or at the gateway?
Supplies. So there would have been in this line item somewhere, so.
I'll look it.
We're have to go back and look. Huh?
We're live. With people on Earth Nation.
You can hear me now.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Hi, Virginia. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Mike is not coming. Are we waiting for Dave?
You want me to move the car over?
I can.
We're just trying to get Dave logged in.
Let's just question.
Don't add me. I was just trying to send him the link.
You got your app? You got your phone?
Hi, Dave.
Hi, kind of got on. Good morning.
Morning.
Hello, Dave. This is Jeff. Can you hear me?
Jeff, we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me fine?
Yeah,
Good. Well, I think is Virginia here?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay. Are we wait? Who are we waiting on then?
no one. I think we're good to go.
Okay.
Just to keep
Well-
things clear, you might want to mention who the committee members are, and the committee members will be the ones making motions, seconds, and voting. If you have board members who are not committee members, they're welcome to attend and ask questions, but they would not participate in the business. So you might want to
Okay.
spell out when you take the attendance here, who the committee members are, and if you have any guests, who they are.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Dave, would you sit in on the meeting today as a committee member?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay. I think we're set then. We'll have myself, Virginia, and you as committee members, and we can probably go forward with the roll call. I don't know how to go about this, Bill. How do we do the roll call?
There is no good way to go about this, just any way you want to do it. You might want to start with the committee members and then other board members and then staff.
All right, let's do that. I'm Jeff Child. This is Southern Portage County.
Virginia Harris, Streetsboro. Dave Ginn, Middle Portage County.
Now, any other board members?
Marvin.
Mr. Woods?
Marvin Woods, Streetsboro.
Okay, thank you. Now, how about the PARTA staff?
Claudia Ameren, PARTA.
Rebecca Schrader, PARTA.
Martha Fletcher, PARTA. Kelly Beard, PARTA. Val, PARTA.
Aaron Mogg. Ryan Trout, PARTA.
Bill Nome, part of legal counsel.
Sounds like we've got everybody from PARTA here. Okay, let's get started with the, we have no, I don't believe, so there'll be no guest communication. Old business,
I didn't get no paperwork in the mail yet.
okay. So you don't have the finance report?
I have nothing.
Nothing, okay.
It didn't come.
Well,
You get your board packet?
No, it didn't come.
You have access to it on that tablet that you have from us?
I don't know, Becky. I really don't know.
We sent out the packet by mail on Friday.
I did not get a board packet.
well, I did that.
I didn't receive one either.
Got that, and I also got the finance reports over the internet as well.
I did that and I copied the reports.
Yeah, I did that too. Well, I don't know, Virginia, are you going to be able to struggle along with this then, or?
I'll do my best.
Okay,
That's all we can ask. I know the routine.
all right. Well, is there any old business that we need to discuss?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, we've got the new business would be Rebecca helping us with these reports and going over those. Would you like to do that now, Rebecca?
Yes, and I was trying to, as much detail as I can, Virginia, to help you know the number.
Okay.
So starting with the PARTA finance report for the month of July, fare box and ticket sales was 12,700, which is starting to come back up. If you recall, we started collecting fares in June, but we hadn't for the month previous to that. We are obviously behind that line item for the year due to COVID. Same thing for agency cash grants. This month it was $11,145. We have started transporting more of our contract clients, and that has continued on into August. KSU revenue is $41,400. It is lower than that would normally be budgeted for this month, primarily because of being and Penn State and COVID. State reimbursement for fuel tax, we received $5,800. That is right on track year to date for the budget. Our state capital maintenance assistance, you see all the way to the right that we have already received 100% of our funds. For state capital maintenance, and for elderly and disabled, we've received all of those funds. We did 2 drawdowns in the month of July for the CARES grant, would have been for the month of May and June. So there was $1 million revenue for the CARES grant that we have. Year to date, we have now drawn down 2.1 million out of 4 million that we received. Under the mobility grant, it says mobility grant new freedom. We did a small drawdown of $112. Mobility management funds are used up. However, we had ancillary operating dollars that we drew down that were associated with oversight of our 10 sub-recipients. There wasn't a specific line item for grant dollars, so I'm booking it in this account. Sum of dollars year to date, it's $5 approximately, and we are tracking above budget. Sales tax revenue, we received $409,000. Year to date, we are at almost under $3.2 million, which is just slightly under budget. And other revenue, $14,700. We received some advertising from Metro and also sold, I think it was LTV bus and one of our old tractors. So that's the revenues, $1.5 million. The expenses were $695,000. So there is a monthly profit of $832,000. Going over the expenses, all of our salaries and fringe are under budget. It's a total of about 50% of our budget. For July, we would be looking at 58%. All of the line items, department wages are under budget. The only thing that's tracking over, and that is dependent on what claims are doing, as well as our specific employees and hired. As their expenses fluctuate, that health insurance can change during the year compared to when I budgeted last October. The next line item is professional technical services. We had $48,800 expenses this month. This is higher than the monthly budget for several different reasons. We had a lot of activity in this category for this month. We had our new IT services come on board, Quality IT, so we paid for their month service of maintenance service. as well as the final month for Jekyll. So there was kind of an IT overlap this month as handoff has taken place. In addition to quality IP, we did a special project where we updated our Cisco firewall and the Meraki wireless devices on our property. Part of this money was drawn down under the NeoRide validator. Well, to that was $16,000. That part of that, can't remember the exact number, but part of that was reimbursed to us through the NeoRide grant for the validators. Another expense out of that same category was our annual management service for our Bureau of Workers' Comp. Also, we have some expenses through Kastner, and then our financial audit through Charles E. Harris finished up this month. There was a final expense. So see that this line item was slightly over budget for the month and for the year, but I believe this is the timing. Well, at least for the audit, that's all front-loaded and should even out some as we go forward. Capital maintenance was under budget, other services is under budget, fuel and lubricants is under budget, both and the year. Same with other all of these really. Fuel, suppliers, other materials, supplies. Utilities is under budget for the month, but $5,000 over for the year, just slightly over. For premium public liability, we were over budget for the month. This is a quarterly payment. This is the third out of 4 payments we would pay for them for the year. In addition, we had a $6,000 invoice for deductibles. We get charged for those twice a year. And so I'm expecting one more payment of $48,000 to finish off this line item. So you can see if you add $48,000 the actual year to date, we will be under budget for the year. Dues and subscriptions, I think we paid for OFTA this month, and that I believe we should be about done for dues and subscriptions for the year. With no travel and meetings, no expenses for advertising, and we had a credit for other miscellaneous expenses. So it shows a net of a negative $539. We received a credit for the Akron rubber duck we had back in March before the pandemic. Had planned to go to a rubber duck baseball game in Akron like we do normally, and that got canceled and we got. So like I said, for the month, we had a surplus of $832,000. For the year, we are showing on the books a surplus of $4 million. Any questions on this report?
No.
Did I just hear you say we would have a surplus of $4 million?
Jeff, ask your question again.
Did you say that the surplus for the year would be at $4 million?
I said that the surplus as of right now on the books is $2.4 million. I really haven't done any of the projections for year end quite yet. Due to the CARES grant, that has definitely helped with our operating expenses. But I can't say for sure right now what it will be at the end of the year.
Okay, one other question, and maybe you can answer this, or even Claudia. On the KSU revenue, are we going to see that improve during the next few months? I don't know what's happening at the campus as far as bus service.
Yes, we will, Jeff. Every summer we enter into set out the hours this year. We did, of course, had to shut down that service when campus closed in March. And we've reduced our service since then to about one bus, which is why we're not receiving the revenue that we anticipated receiving. But the amendment that we just signed reduces service only to follow the reduction in the academic calendar. So after Thanksgiving, will not return to campus until spring semester in January. So we really provide out during the times that we're open, as we would normally do. Scale the service after Thanksgiving, when everything will be online. So in total, we service close to 4,000 hours from our normal 25,000 hours, but we're still planning on roughly 21,000 service. That could be interrupted by COVID, by changes that doesn't know about yet, but it is all planned around their expected population on campus and commuters, as well as our community blend of, it's just different, but it allows us to have more service circulating around the campus, not much from stadium lot, not going to computer past at it, Dick Stadium. So the upside of this is that we will have more frequent service campus so that we can encourage distancing on the bus as much as possible. We'll be maybe 20 passengers a bus, and another bus will come by within a few minutes is the plan. We can't have this like we used to. So that's a long answer, possibly a short question, but yes, we should see our revenues increase. If that also included an increase based on the annual increase we get 5% average the cost of right next.
So our service
rate went up a little bit. Our hours will be restored until our have to scale it back because of COVID.
Another thing to point out, to keep in mind, is even though we're not running as many buses, that helps decrease our expenses, our rent wages are $139,000 below budget, as well as the maintenance to all of the buses that we haven't been running, and the fuel that we fuel our buses. Whereas our revenues are down, so are our expenses.
So to tie that question with the surplus that we have, we're tracking our tax very closely. The predictions were that we would see a decrease in tax revenue, and many counties have. So I'm cautiously optimistic that we might ride this out without a huge loss. We really don't know yet. So we're staying conservative on our spending and watching the sales tax closely. But the CARES money is an influx money we certainly did budget for, but it is a cushion in the event that sales tax drops month to month or a huge lump. Yeah, so I don't want to get too excited about things. It might be in a year that we slump. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that answer. That CARES is that $1,032,000 that's up in the revenue section.
Yeah.
Oh, for CARES, we have spent $1 million this last month. We down year to date since it started in April or May. We've drawn down $2.1 million.
Okay.
I have a question about the CARES money that we're 2.1 million have drawn down out of 4 million. is the rest guaranteed? And when, if it is, when we draw it down?
The $4 million is guaranteed. It is executed in an active grant. I draw it down at the end of every month, depending on what our operating expenses are. I do take out mechanic wages. I do take out our fare box, deduct our fare box and any other grant money that we've received, because I can't receive grant dollars from different sources for the same expense. For maintenance wages, we use those for preventative or capitalized maintenance. So we've been drawing down about $400,000 to $500,000 a month. I think at the beginning I had estimated that it would last for 7 or 8 months, but we'll definitely use it up before the end of the year.
Then I have another question, an aside, is that I'm having a very difficult time hearing, and I'm wondering if somebody needs to silence their phone, if everybody is on silent, because there's a lot of chatter going on in the background.
I'm having problem too, Dave.
So if everybody could.
Okay, so any other questions? If not, I'm going to move on.
Yeah, whoever just did something to their Zoom sure improved the quality of the sound.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the
Yeah.
next,
Yes, let's move on to the next report.
okay, thank you. That's going to be the B report, the finance, PARTA capital finance report. So for the month of July for capital, I drew down $54,000 for maintenance equipment on the 5339 formula grant. I drew down $587,000 for the bus storage facility. That project is still going. We will not be using up that entire fund, or not fund, but we will not be used. It says that there's $1.4 million remaining on that one line item, but it's actually 4 line items. We have the OPT2 storage facility. We have the bus storage facility 5339, the building cameras, which we are working on right now, and the bus wash upgrades. It's kind of all one project. What I was trying to say is that those numbers add up to more than what this contract is for. There will still be money available in this grant. We plan to do some build out of the inside of the storage facility. You'll learn more about that as we go along. We need to procure a new architect and engineer. His current one that we have, his term is ended. So to move forward with other projects, we need a new A&E firm on board, and we are looking at doing some build out to the interior of that storage facility with the remaining money. So that'll be hopefully for this winter.
Okay, how much money are you talking about? How much remaining money?
About $500,000. So less. $4.5 to $500,000.
Okay.
At the end of this project, we're still finishing out all the change orders and all the. We knew going into this project, initially when we applied for the grant funds, and based on the history of other construction projects on this facility, normally we would have to do piles, driven piles for the foundations, because most of it was a bog before PARTA was here. It turns out that for this project, there was a new kind of foundation that we were able to use, and it saved us a lot of money. So we ended up, when we went out for bid, we ended up coming in way less than what we had for grant money. So we still have the grant money, and it has to be used for the storage facility, and we will move forward with that. If that makes sense. Under the expenses, we had $42,000 for 2 support vehicles, $81,000 for maintenance equipment in the form of a floor scrubber for the garage. So now actually we will have 2 floor scrubbers. One pretty much is at the end of its useful life, but we will keep it because now we will have one here for this facility and one down at the gateway. We had $189,000 to Campbell for the storage facility, and then $81,600 for the OTPP validator Cradle Point project. We are up and running with that project. Actually, we are the first transit. There was a pool, I think, of 7 different transit agencies that were all doing the same project, and we are the first ones to be up and running successfully with this project. All of our state grant dollars are requested, and except with the exception of the storage facility, there's still about $50,000 left to draw down when we get the next invoice for the storage facility. So I have $1.4 million set aside right now in restricted. Some of it is for the future capital project. You know, we have some big buses coming that there will be local match requirements. There's 2 buses that are coming in December or January, and then we expect 4. There's 4 buses coming in December. Those are the clean diesels. And then we're getting 3 CNG vehicles next October. So it's hard. There's a lot of grant dollars. With those buses, there's such a long lead out that we're already planning the next purchase before we got the last purchase. But we got it all straight on paper, I promise. Any questions on capital?
No.
Okay, moving on to the statement of net position or the balance sheet. We had a variance. We have more cash equivalents, $595,000. Our receivables decreased $2,000. Currently, we have $103,800. And then you can see under property, facilities, and equipment, the same expenditure in the variance column that we just talked about on the capital grant. Our accounts payables decreased $500,000. I believe that at the end of last month, there was a building invoice, large building invoice on the payables list. Obviously, that was paid for this month. But our reoccurring payables pretty much are staying consistent. Any questions about PARTA? Okay, moving on to the Kent Central Gateway. For the month of July, we had 3,730 cars that were entered the gateway. That's about an average of 120 cars per day. That was an increase of 26% from last month. If you're comparing January through July for 19 compared to January through July for 20, we're about 51% of a decrease in the amount of cars, obviously because of COVID. But you can see that we are slowly starting to gradually increase, and especially this last week, we have seen the amount of cars and the activity at the hotel definitely start to increase. Any questions on the parking? I don't call this report, blue report. All right, moving on to the finances. For the Kent Central Gateway finance report, the overnight hotel parking was $4,900 this month. Year to date, it's $34,000, which is a negative variance of 66,200. For monthly, and you can see that the monthly parking passes has really helped keep us afloat during this COVID period. But for the month, we had 13,500. Year to date, we're at just under $117,000. Pretty close to budget, actually. Daily parking was low. It was at 2,700, and year to date, it's at 37,000 for a negative variance of 88,213. I can tell you that for the month of August, for a partial month, we have started to invoice the Kent Health Department. They're in the process of moving in and should be opening soon, and they will be paying us some of the monthly parking and also for revenue. And I will probably book it. I'll rename this conference room revenue, and I'm going to rename that account to be essentially something different. But well, I didn't want to say retail revenue. That's for Burbig. It's not retail, so it's, and I don't want to necessarily name it health department. So lease revenue. That's good. Lease revenue. Other revenues would be interest for the bank primarily. That's what that is. We get some other revenues. We actually had several bricks for the memorial that were purchased here recently. So that, I believe, a lot of that is brick revenue. And then we do still get some people using the electric car chargers. Goes in that category. Year to date, we're at 2,000, and our at 2,100 actually, and our budget was 2,000. So we made our budget. So our revenues came in at $29,000. Our expenses for the month were $45,000. So we took a loss again for this month of $16,193. For our expenses, we have salaries and wages at $17,000, health insurance at $6,600, and other fringe benefits at $58,000. Those are all $5,800. Thank you, $5,800. All of those are under budget for the year, significantly under budget. So we've done a good job trying to maintain those expenses. Professional and technical services is $738, well under budget. Contract maintenance was over budget this month. It was $6,800, $6,852. The reason for that is we paid our Otis invoice, which is our maintenance on our elevators. They had to come out and do some work for certification. And also Ski Data, which is our parking control equipment. We had some software upgrades that we had to do for that equipment in the amount of $5,300. So that's what came out of that category. Wait a minute, sorry. Contract maintenance. Yeah, that was contract maintenance services. So year to date, contract maintenance services is $15,900. Again, we are under budget. And then for other services, our expense for the month was $4,100. We had to pay $1,400 this month for our annual sprinkler test. That's a once a year test that came up this month. So that contributed to that expense. The rest of it is mostly our security people. That expense did increase this month, so that's why we're seeing that expense the way it is. But we're right at the budget. Materials and supplies is showing a negative 96. The reason for that is we were reimbursed for damage that was done to our gates. The individual who damaged the gate sent us a check, and so it was credited against materials and supplies, because we buy the parts and we fix the gates on our own. Utilities is right on budget, and those are the rest of our expenses. So again, for the month, we are a deficit of $16,000. Year to date, we have a deficit right now of $81,000. But due to the cars increasing, the monthly parkers are staying consistent, the dailies should start to increase, and our lease revenue. I'm looking for the end of the year to hopefully continue to rise and to pay back the loan that Kent Central Gateway gave to PARTA. Any questions right now on the looking at the A+ report, the only thing I want to add really is the hotel validation. For the month of July, we had 582 validations for the hotel, which on average for the month is $8.48 per validation. Year to date, which is going to be because of the months of April and May, which had no hotel. So I actually, in my average, I took April and May out of the equation, and I'm looking at the average January, February, March, July. So on average, they're paying $9.31 per validation. Clarify those numbers for you. Really, that is all I have for. The last thing I want just to mention, and I told both Jeff and Mike about this already. Last month I had talked about the $75,000 loan that PARTA paid to the Gateway. Originally I had said that the $34,000 reimbursement for the traffic coding was deducted from that loan, but due to cash flow issues, I ended up not deducting that. I ended up doing another transfer for $34,000, which showed the grant reimbursement from PARTA to the Gateway. That $75,000 loan is still $75,000. But again, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to repay that back before the end of the year. I'm thinking positively. That's my goal. We'll try. Okay, those are my reports for finance. If anybody has any questions. I don't see anybody's lips moving. Back to you, Jeff.
All right. How about the statement of net position for Kent Gateway? You going to talk about that?
Well, that was kind of my talk about the $34,000. So let me just point it out on this report. The advance payable ACG under the liabilities, it's showing $280,000. And you can see the variance for accounts payable, the $34,800. That was us paying. That was us paying for the deck cracking out of the Gateway's checking account, and then I did move in $34,000 to our cash.
Okay. Dave, you have any questions? Dave,
I don't. Thank you very much. It just kind of a point of interest is you said that we have, and it's a very small amount of growing income from the electric car chargers. Is that used a lot? Do they have two places, and is it used a lot?
There's 3 places, and before COVID, it actually was surprisingly used consistently. I wouldn't say that we're going to win the lottery. I wouldn't say it's a huge generating, but people are using it.
And they have to pay to park, right?
Correct.
right, Virginia, you have any questions?
No, not at this time.
It's tough to get through this without the paper in front of you to see it. I understand.
It's kind of hard.
All
Mr.
right.
Woods, you have any
Many-
questions you'd like to come up with? Marvin, would you like to ask any questions?
No, I'm good for right now. Thank you.
Guess you probably didn't have the report either.
No, I didn't.
All right.
Okay. All right, well, I don't have any further questions. I guess we'll move on to, we do have a resolution to discuss, and it pertains to a couple buses that we're hoping to buy. Resolution number 2020-08-01, a resolution by Portage Area Regional Transportation Authority Board of Trustees authorizing the general manager or her designee to purchase up to 3 transit buses, optional equipment and spare parts from Transportation Equipment Sales Corporation. Claudia, can you fill us in on this just a little bit?
Sure. Thanks, Jeff. So this will be an order for 3 transit buses off of our current Tesco contract, which will be the last purchase off of the Tesco contract. It's a 5-year agreement, and we will have to do an RFP prior to buying more buses after this September of 2020 order. This is to replace buses that are outside of their useful life and will help us on our fleet replacement schedule. We learned a few weeks back, and I put in my board report, apologize, people didn't get them to by today, but when you do get them, you'll see a table that shows the buses that we will be receiving this year and next year. And fortunately, we received grant funding through the FTA's Buses and Bus Facilities program. That provided the funding for 1 CNG replacement bus. We already had funding in place for the 2 other buses that we're ordering in September. So that helps to preserve our 5307 funds, which we would have used to purchase 1 bus, you know, but we got this other grant, so we reserve that for other purposes. So just to put it all in a package, we are expecting to receive 4 buses in that we ordered last October. And then by the end of next year, by the end of 21, probably October, we'll receive these 3 buses. And all of it is covered, 80% of it is covered by grant funding. Any questions about that?
I guess I just want to apologize to the committee because on the capital report, I was talking about that, but then realized you haven't passed the resolution. So hopefully we will receive 3 more buses next fall.
Yeah, and the timing that we bring these resolutions for buying buses is based on the build time that we receive from through Tesco with Eldorado, who is building the buses. We previously said that there was a 24-month lead time, but that changed sometime last month because a large bus order from LA, Los Angeles had a big bus order that suspended its order probably due to COVID, and so we got pushed up. Now we're on a 13-month build, which is why we are coming forward with grant funding that we have in place to purchase the 3 buses that September for an October delivery date. And if you don't keep that all straight, don't feel badly. I had to sit down and put a table together and spend a lot of time. It's confusing when we're buying the same thing over and over, the timing, but
with different grant dollars.
With different grant dollars, and then new grant dollars sometimes pop up. So it's kind of a fluid process, but it is all in line with trying to keep our fleet state of good repair and replace buses at about 12 years, usually a little bit longer than that, but it's greatly improved over 10 years ago, I would say. Yeah. So,
You were breaking up, Claudia, but you said they'll be in October, the buses?
yes, pending board approval of the resolution in August, we would then order the buses in September for an October delivery date. And it's also important for keeping us on our fleet schedule, replacement schedule, because we are out of contract now with this Tesco, and we need to order them so that we can get them in 13 months and then do an RFP for any subsequent bus purchases.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so we're going to get 3 CNG buses, not to exceed 1.8 million, and we're going to pay 20% of that 1.8 million is actually coming out of our pockets. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. So about $360,000, give or take.
Claudia, how many CNG buses will we have when these are received?
Sure. So we're ordering buses 7, 8, and 9 out of 10 originally programmed.
So at the end, we'll have 11 instead of 10.
And we'll have 11 instead of 10. Yeah. So, Brian, do you want to say something about that?
No, you got that covered.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have the contract that I wrote back 5 years ago allowed us to order based on what the grant dollars that were available. So I wrote CNG options for propulsion into that contract, along with clean diesel options for propulsion. We have tried to maintain a 50-50 balance moving forward with the large bus fleet of regular clean diesel and CNG, mostly for fuel delivery issues that they were to arise. We wouldn't be boxed in any one area. So that's we're sticking with that. You know, we have the 4 new clean diesels coming in, and then with this order, we'll have another 3 CNGs. We have 6 CNGs sites. Order. When we're complete, we'll be at 9. Have 3 or 4 additional clean diesels coming in.
Thanks.
All right. It's Dave or Virginia, did one of you have a motion to recommend or not recommend this resolution to the Board of Trustees?
I'll move that we recommend this resolution to be approved by the Board of Trustees.
I'll second.
Okay, those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carried unanimously. There's no need for a second nay. How about executive session? Anybody have any need for executive session today? Hearing none, I think we're done today then, if somebody would like to adjourn us.
Virginia, your turn. Okay, I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm sorry, Dave. I can't hear too good for some reason.
Okay.
We just unanimously decided to adjourn, so I believe that is it. It's good to see you.
Thank
I
you.
actually, the only person I can see is Dave. I can't see you, Virginia.
I'm here.
I see a big V.
She has her
Having a
video.
bad hair day. Having a bad.
I see a big green V.
All right. Well, we'll see you on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay.
Thursday.
Thank you.
All right.
Good
Be
luck,
safe,
God bless.
everybody.
Thank you.
I know.